What does it feel like to launch into space? And can you describe your first moment of weightlessness?
Oh, wow. Launching into space is like, the feeling you have when you accelerate to get on the freeway. You hit the gas, speed up. That acceleration, the change in velocity, change in speed pushes you back into your seat, right? You feel that. The thing is you keep accelerating and you're going straight up, and it happens for 8 to 9 minutes. And that's the massive power of rockets. The booster is accelerating you in stages, and you hit something on the order of 17,000 miles per hour, and you get into orbit. And orbit is essentially continuous free fall. And so you experience weightlessness. Everything around you is falling at the same acceleration around the planet. And therefore, when you push off the floor, you float. And my first moment of weightlessness, I was actually strapped into my seat really tight. But we had a zero G indicator. It's a tradition to bring along some neat toy or something, and we had Grogu, Baby Yoda, and so they pulled that out, and we saw it float, and my arms were floating in front of me, and it was just an amazing moment. But we still had work to do, so I was also still piloting the Dragon capsule.
What was your most memorable moment during your time in space?
Great. Wow. Okay. Like the whole thing was memorable. I mean, before launch, when I heard them go 10, 9, I was like, whoa, this is real. It's about to happen. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking before that because I was ready, right? But when they said 10, 9, I was like, oh, we're about to go to space. It's like, I hope I got my car keys, But the whole mission was like that all along the way because it was the first time, my second day in space. It was my first second day in space. The whole mission felt like that. But listen, getting back to Earth safely, any mission, everything else becomes much less significant if you don't get home safe. And so landing and getting home safe, when we splashed down in the Gulf of Mexico, that just felt like, oh, the mission is complete and I can finally exhale. We're back on Earth. That was special.
Physical and mental challenges of being in space.
Oh, yes, yes. Physical. It is interesting when your body is experiencing weightlessness for a very long time. Your fluid shifts and your eyes can change. Your bones will atrophy. Your muscles will atrophy. And also, the salt in your diet will cause calcium to leach out of your bones faster. So, we do lots of things to counter these things. People's vision changes. Some people wear glasses permanently sometimes because of the changes in your vision. So, there are lots of things that happen to your body by being exposed to weightlessness. And so we have lots of medical therapies and countermeasures. But one of the primary things is just exercise, good fitness going on the mission. So we start training for that before the mission so that we can have as much health built up when we get there. And then on orbit, we have exercise and nutrition therapies to help get you ready. Physically, that emotionally, I would say the biggest toll of any mission is just emotional, spending time away from your family, your loved ones, and I would say what's normal. Leaving what's normal puts you in a little bit of a stress response. And when you're off the earth, it's cool and exciting, but it's also very different than the life you've lived up to that point. And so it
Wow.
can be an emotionally challenging thing because no matter what mission, going to the moon or spending 6 months on the space station, no matter how long you're in space, you are isolated. You're away from the Earth that you're used to, and it is also in a pretty harsh environment. Space is very harsh, cold or hot and no air, and you need those systems. So you learn to depend on your crewmates and on those systems that keep you alive.
Can you share some positives that you've seen in African American STEM education?
Yes, I mean, from looking at the assignment of this crew, to the astronaut corps that we have that represents America, we are representative of the demographic makeup of this country, and that's a beautiful thing because the first astronauts, the Mercury 7, even though I look up to all 7 of those gentlemen, they were all 30-something white male military test pilot English-speaking Christians, and that was intentional. We wanted the same person 7 times, and now we pick for diversity, pulling together all of the tools and talents of our country and the amazing fabric that makes this the diverse, amazing country. And so that to me is a sign of progress. If you look at my class that was selected in 2013 and compare them to the Mercury 7, that to me is an actual sign, an image of progress. That picture of the 7 of them, they all look very similar to my class, which is 4 men, 4 women, and racially diverse. We've got gender diversity, but also what you don't see is the experience diversity, the diversity of skills. We don't have all military. We don't have all pilots, all test pilots. It is a great mix of what makes this country and what makes this country great and amazing. And so I think that progress, that sign of progress, is one of the most encouraging things about spaceflight for me nowadays.
On a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the most nervous, right? How nervous are you to fly around the moon?
Uh, two,
Okay,
two,
wow.
yeah.
Hey,
But listen. That's less about ego or machismo. That is not trying to. I'm not trying to flex. This is my job. This is my profession. I work in a very high tempo, very high trust organization, and this is what we do, and we're pretty good at it. And look, I've only been here for 10 years, but I'm in a long line of people that have done this very well, and we made some mistakes, but we have learned from those, and we own those, and we're going to be better. And so I'm not nervous at all, even though we do have some challenges ahead.
do you think you'll find, and this is a fun question, so please have fun with this question.
Uh-huh.
Do you think you'll find any transformers on the dark side of the moon at all?
Okay, listen. I got a teachable moment as well with this one. So we gotta stop saying "Dark Side of the Moon." That's the title of an album, and unfortunately, NASA is not as popular as I believe it was Aerosmith. But the Dark Side of the Moon is a misnomer. It's the far side. That side of the moon always faces away from the Earth, but it does get lit by the sun. And so on the far side of the moon, maybe we'll pass it when the sun is shining on it. And we'll get to check it out. I'll take some pictures for you, and we'll look at them together when we get back. But I will be very surprised if we see anything there because we've worked. It's taken us over 50 years to get back. It's not easy to make that journey.
Right. Well, thank you so much for spending time with me today. We really
Hey,
appreciate
great talking to you, and I hope we
it.
get to talk again.
Absolutely. Bye bye.
Bye bye.